update.
These pandas.
It's a perfect end of Friday.
The one's eating the bamboo, so they're apparently teething already. All right, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you back here on Monday. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.
Right now at 5, police are investigating 2 teens for an attempted homicide over the weekend.
Tampons and pads would be offered for free in schools and local buildings under a new proposal. We'll hear from community leaders at 5.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 5.
Thanks for staying with News 3 Now. 4 teenagers have been arrested, 2 of them for what Madison police are calling an attempted homicide.
This is all connected to a crash between a stolen car and a squad car on Saturday afternoon. Our Amanda Quintana is here now with the latest details on this case. Amanda?
Yes, well, police would not identify the 16-year-old boy and the 16-year-old girl accused of these crimes. What we do know is the 2 of them were together on Saturday when a 17-year-old boy was beat, robbed, and forced into a car. When he was able to get free, shots were fired. You may remember that same day, 2 teenage girls were arrested after allegedly crashing a stolen car into a Madison police squad car. Officers now believe that the 2 girls were taking off from the scene of that armed robbery. The driver is tentatively facing a list of charges, including party to a crime, attempted first-degree homicide, and armed robbery. We learned today a 16-year-old boy who police believe fired those gunshots has been arrested and tentatively charged with attempted homicide, armed robbery, and substantial battery, along with other charges. When he was found, he was the passenger in a stolen car. The 17-year-old driver was also arrested. Police say these teens are part of an active group stealing cars in the area, and the witnesses and the victim are reluctant to cooperate, so they don't have many more details to release to the public at this time.
All right, Amanda Quintana reporting. Amanda, thank you. Authorities are now calling the case of 2 Wisconsin brothers who went missing in Missouri a death investigation. According to WISC-TV in Kansas City, authorities in Missouri say a suspect is in custody in connection with the case, but would not say who that individual is. Nicholas and Justin Diemel own a livestock business in Wisconsin where they were traveling to Missouri to meet with farmers but have not been heard from since Sunday. KCTV reporting 25-year-old Garland Joey Nelson is facing 1 count of first-degree tampering with a motor vehicle. He admitted to police that he had driven the brothers' rental truck. This is a developing story, and we will have the latest posted at Channel3000.com.
Children's Hospital in Milwaukee says 8 teens who were hospitalized in July with seriously damaged lungs are suspected to have been vaping. Children's Hospital says all patients reported vaping in the weeks and months prior to being hospitalized. The hospital says the number of patients in such a short time frame is concerning. According to Children's Hospital, the symptoms that led to hospitalization include shortness of breath, fatigue, chest pain, coughing, and weight loss. The severity of health conditions has varied, with some patients needing assistance in order to breathe.
It was alarming to have, over a short period of time, 8 previously healthy teens come in very sick, unable to breathe, with weight loss, looking as if they had some sort of chronic lung disease when they didn't.
Doctors believe prolonged exposure to the chemicals could lead to more serious permanent issues. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is investigating the possible cause of these illnesses.
All right, with the weekend set to begin, let's get a look at your first alert weather. Meteorologist Chris Reese joining us on the weather patio. Chris?
Hey, it turned out to be a pretty spectacular afternoon for us, at least here in Madison, and for a lot of points to the west. We've seen some periods of showers and thunderstorms at times, and there's still some shower activity mainly north and east of us, but a lot of that is not all that expansive in the coverage. Here's a live look from the station right now. You do see some high level clouds, but you also see some area of blue sky as well. The temperature 83 degrees. So now that we were able to get some sunshine, we did see those temperatures warm back up into the low 80s. Wind still staying out of the south at 16 miles per hour. So yes, it is very breezy as you begin to head out the door. Janesville, you guys were at 84. 84. Boscobel is at 85, and La Crosse, always one of the common warm spots, at 89 right now, but 70s as you work your way towards the north and east. That's where we have a little bit more in the way of cloud cover, and that's also where we were seeing some of those showers earlier on as well. As we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening, I think we dry out. We'll see that mix of some sunshine and cloud cover before cooling off into the upper 60s for a comfortable night. But we have more rain chances throughout the weekend. I'll be talking about those in Maine weather.
Chris, thanks. 2 teenage boys have been arrested after allegedly stealing a van from Dodgeville. Madison police say the 2 13-year-olds were seen in a van weaving in and out of traffic while traveling at varying speeds on the Beltline last night. Officers saw the van on South Gammon Road, positioned a squad car in front of it, ordered the van's 2 occupants out at gunpoint. One of the boys was from Verona, the other from Madison. Both were taken to the Dane County Juvenile Reception Center.
Madison police say they're looking for a man who could be connected to multiple muggings. Police say the first mugging happened around 1:30 this morning in the 900 block of Spring Street. The victim says the robber demanded that he hand over his wallet and cell phone. The victim ran away and called police. But an hour and a half later, a 34-year-old man was mugged and hit in the head by a suspect on Jennifer Street near Brearley Street. The robber took the victim's wallet and cell phone. Police say they're investigating if the 2 incidents are connected.
Madison police have released surveillance photos showing 2 men stealing more than $6,000 worth of cigarettes from an East Side gas station. The pair made off with 76 cartons of cigarettes after breaking into a Quick Trip on West Broadway. A crowbar was left behind at the scene. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Madison Area Crime Stoppers. Menstrual products would be more readily available throughout Wisconsin under a new proposal at the state capitol. Community leaders are applauding state lawmakers' efforts to increase access to tampons and pads, but as Rose Schmidt explains, still a long way off here. Rose?
Yes, well, the bill aiming to increase access to pads and tampons is still in its early stages right now, but it's been introduced before and now faces an uphill battle at the state capitol.
It should be something that we can talk about publicly, and bring attention to.
More than 100,000 menstrual products will be distributed throughout the Dane County area, following a tampon and school supply drive this week.
It started 2 years ago, and it started when 2 young girls got busted stealing period products.
A leading force behind that drive is the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. Chief Operating Officer Sarah Gee cited research showing 1 in 5 American girls have missed school due to a lack of tampons and pads.
When you miss school as a result of this, you miss opportunities, and it really decreases your confidence.
Those products would be offered for free at all schools, state, and local buildings under a new proposal at the state capitol. It's been proposed in the past but could not get the Republican support needed to pass. But some similar plans have already been implemented at the county level, spearheaded by Supervisor Heidi Wagnegler.
We started with a pilot project in about 8 county buildings, including this building.
Coin dispensers in Dane County buildings like the CCB and courthouse were converted to dispense pads and tampons for free.
You need toilet paper, you need hand soap. These are just basic things you need when you go to the bathroom. And for people who menstruate, they need menstrual supplies.
That's why she's pushing nonprofits and other community partners to do the same, hoping to start the conversation.
In some situations, it's still a little taboo, oh, that's not anything you're supposed to talk about. Well, why not? It's a part of life for half the population.
When this bill was proposed in 2015 and 2017, it did not get scheduled for a hearing. And it's hard to say how much it would cost to offer these products for free throughout the state because the bill's previous fiscal estimate was considered indeterminate. Dane County officials tell me they also have plans to install dispensers in Dane County parks that offer pads and tampons for free.
Rose Schmidt reporting at Rose. Thank you. Sunflower Day started today, and for $4, people can visit the park and take pictures with acres of sunflowers.
Gabriella Becerra joins us from Pope Farm Conservancy with more on why there's some controversy this year over an admission fee. Gabby?
Years ago, the Pope family sold this farm to the town of Middleton, but the family says they made it clear that they wanted this land to remain free and open for those who visited. Now this year that's changing with Sunflower Days that's charging an admittance fee of $4. Dave Zorb, the Pope family spokesperson, says they're not opposed to Sunflower Days, but they're not happy with the way the town is running it. He says it rips at the vision his mother and stepfather had created for the Conservancy.
We offered a compromise We said what we would do is there's no admission, and they call it an admissions fee, but they could have charged people to ride the bus to get here, collect the same amount of money. If they wanted donations to go to the park, they could put a jar out there. That would all have been fine.
The town of Middleton says the fee is going towards admittance and shuttle rides to and from the park. The town administrator says the town wants to be respectful to the family, but also wants to share the park with the public. The town of Middleton says that they hired this outside company so that the event can remain safe and fun for all who visit during the next 10 days.
Gabriella Becerra live at Pope Farm Conservancy. Gabby, thank you.
A new report on downtown Madison's accessibility is being called a wake-up call by city officials. 90 respondents were surveyed about the difficulties faced by people with disabilities. 63% of those people say they experienced mobility barriers in downtown Madison. Now, city officials say some of these barriers are due to the fact that many downtown buildings are about 100 years old, but even newer public places like Monona Terrace and Overture Center present problems for people with disabilities.
Reading that report, as I say, was quite a wake-up call. It was really sobering to see that no matter what aspect you look at, accessibility issues downtown, the downtown is sorely lacking.
If you have concerns over the accessibility in downtown Madison, officials will be at the Disability Pride Festival at Tenney Park tomorrow, where you can discuss your issues.
Senator Ron Johnson is calling on House Democrats to help pass the United States-Mexico-Canada trade agreement. The Republican senator hosted a roundtable discussion today in DeForest to discuss the impact of the proposed USMCA. The agreement replaces NAFTA and aims to benefit farmers in Wisconsin by strengthening food and agricultural trade in North America. Senator Johnson says Congress must ratify the deal for it to become final.
Call on Mark Pocan and Ron Kind and Gwen Moore and Tammy Baldwin to put pressure on Nancy Pelosi for the benefit of Wisconsin farmers to bring up in the House the USMCA trade deal and ratify it as is. There's no opening up that deal. That's not the way this works. The trade deals are negotiated and they're ratified by the countries. That's what the House has to do. So.
Representative Ron Kind says he has serious questions about the USMCA, saying these issues include enforceability of labor and environmental standards and lifting the tariffs on Mexico and Canada that continue to hurt Wisconsin workers, farmers, and businesses.
From the red and white to the green and gold, the Packers are signing a former Badger. The Packers have announced that they have signed former Badger defensive tackle Olive Segapolu. Played in 44 games during his Badger career, including 26 starts. He was limited to just 8 games last year after injuring his arm against Northwestern. Segapolu will likely compete for a backup spot on the Packers roster behind starting defensive tackle Kenny Clark. And ahead on News 3 now at 5, the growing concern of the skyrocketing cost of prescription drugs continues. We will have testimony from patients depending on life-saving medications.
And then ahead on News 3 now at 6, a local food pantry speaks out about a new federal proposal that could kick at least 25,000 Wisconsin households off of food stamps.
And a check at Wall Street to close the week. The Dow closing the week up 51.5. The Nasdaq added almost 92. The S&P 500 gained 22. We'll be right back. Patients who depend on prescription drugs and have felt the impact of skyrocketing prices told their stories to lawmakers today. House lawmakers became emotional listening to patients impacted by drug prices. The committee says drug companies have raised prices on more than 3,400 medications just this year. And this hearing is part of an investigation into those actions. Lawmakers at the hearing vowed to work together to come up with a solution.
Drug costs more than my car payment, more than my business insurance, more than my food bill each month.
It's our job to make certain that these companies don't rip off the patent system, don't rip off the taxpayer.
Democrats, Republicans are looking at this very, very closely.
And just this week, senators voted to advance legislation to lower drug prices. The House is also working on its own bill to do the same.
At least 18 United States Marines are under arrest in connection with a human smuggling probe along the U.S. border with Mexico. The Marines say the arrests stemmed from an earlier arrest of 2 more Camp Pendleton Marines near the Mexico border in early July. The pair were pulled over with 3 undocumented immigrants in their back seat and charged with human smuggling. Both have pleaded not guilty. According to authorities, the undocumented immigrants said they agreed to pay the Marines $8,000. The Marines said it was not their first time doing this, and Border Patrol expanded the investigation, which led to yesterday's arrest.
The Trump administration is looking beyond North Korean missile tests on Thursday as it strives to revive stalled nuclear talks. South Korea says the missiles are a new design for North Korea, and CBS News has confirmed the U.S. had no warning that the missiles were going to be launched, indicating North Korean technology may be improving. North Korea called the tests a warning to South Korea ahead of planned military exercises with the U.S. next month.
Soon, the mobile phone market in the U.S. will be run by just 3 giant companies. Today, federal regulators approved T-Mobile's $26.5 billion takeover of Sprint. The Department of Justice approved the deal after T-Mobile's parent company agreed to sell off several Sprint assets to Dish Network, including its Boost and Virgin Mobile companies, along with some wireless cell towers and stores. The merger already faces a lawsuit from a dozen states and the District of Columbia. The new company will own about 30% of the wireless market.
All right, time now to get a look at our first alert weather as the weekend is set to arrive. A few showers out there that meteorologist Chris Reese is keeping an eye on. Chris?
That's right, guys. We're watching those. A lot of those are now towards the north and east of the Madison area. You're talking 1 lone shower throughout parts of Sauk County, Columbia County, getting in on some of that, and then you work your way up towards I-41 towards Fond du Lac. That's where we're seeing most of the shower activity right now, anywhere from about Johnson Creek over towards Menominee Falls and West Bend. You guys could be getting in on a little bit of a shower. As we look back towards the west, a lot of that starting to clear out. We're seeing more sunshine taking over as we go through the rest of the afternoon and evening. But the cloud cover and the rain-cooled air allowed those temperatures to stay just a little bit cooler today. Highs in the 70s for a large part of central Wisconsin. Once you work your way back towards the west, that's where we started to get in on more so of the 80s. 85 the high in Boscobel. Perry Duchesne made it to 88. La Crosse made it to 90. We made it towards 83 here in Madison, which was still 2 degrees warmer than where we typically are for this time of the year. Our low was 9 degrees warmer, so we're still in this warm pattern, even though things are cooler than they have been. Temperatures right now remain very warm as those winds come strongly out of the south. Boscobel still at 88, Prairie du Chien at 86, and La Crosse still at 89. We still do sit at 83 in Madison, so our high temperature is occurring right now. Those winds do remain out of the south at 16 miles per hour, and the dew points remain into the mid-60s for us. A lot of those dew points in the 60s around southern Wisconsin. Some upper 60s and low 70s are showing up in the dew points. So as you step outside today, yes, it is just a little bit more uncomfortable when it comes towards the dew point comfort meter. Look towards the northern part of the state. We'll see a few more showers and thunderstorms starting to develop. We're watching some of those throughout parts of southeastern Minnesota as we speak. Those have the better chance of being severe as we go through the rest of the evening and into the overnight hours. We'll watch that throughout the northern tier of the state. Tomorrow we'll have a marginal risk for strong to severe thunderstorms throughout the southern half of the state. This is as a boundary begins to push its way towards the south. I don't think everyone gets in on the strong strong to severe thunderstorms, but the chance will be there. Here's what's going on right now. We still have a cold front back towards the north and west. That cold front will gradually push its way towards the south and east as we go through the weekend. As it does so, we'll see a couple chances for some showers and storms, one tonight, one tomorrow night. The bigger threat for showers and thunderstorms, though, that's going to come as we go through Sunday night and into Monday. I think that's going to be the most widespread coverage of the shower and the thunderstorm activity and the most long-lasting shower and thunderstorm activity. Let's take you hour by hour. Let's go through tonight. We do have that slight chance in the forecast. A lot of that pushes on towards the south and east. Into tomorrow afternoon and evening, another chance for some showers and thunderstorms, again, pushing towards the south and east. But that better chance for showers and thunderstorms will come in Sunday afternoon and then overnight Sunday and into Monday. But behind that, some cooler air certainly begins to work its way on into the picture. Watch how some of this cooler air takes over. That's going to set the stage for a pretty relaxed and pretty beautiful start to the week ahead. Tuesday, we likely will not get out of the 70s. We're talking low humidity Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll see a little return of the heat and humidity into Friday, but then another cold front going to come into the picture on Saturday, and then check out next Sunday and next Monday. So it's a little bit of a roller coaster ride, but this is normal for a Wisconsin summer. That is for sure. Let's go ahead and get a check on the traffic for you guys. This is the Beltline at Rimrock. Of course, we are seeing those slowdowns. It's Friday. There's also one accident in the westbound direction. That's going to be right as you begin to approach Seminole Highway. So be prepared to pack the patience as you head into that direction. A couple more slowdowns downtown on the Isthmus as well, especially right around John Nolan and Willie Street with construction that is ongoing in that part of town. So plan your routes, pack the patience, get home safely on this Friday. Guys?
It's a Friday. Thank you, Chris.
Still ahead at 5, there's a new warning about potentially contaminated lettuce recently sold at supermarkets, what you can do to avoid getting sick after a short break. Consumer Reports is issuing a warning for those who eat leafy greens.
A new report out today discovered that some leafy greens recently sold at supermarkets were contaminated with a potentially deadly bacteria. Kenneth Craig has the story from New York.
Consumer Reports tested 284 samples of fresh greens, including lettuce, spinach, and kale, recently sold at supermarkets. They found 6 of those samples tainted with listeria, a potentially deadly bacteria. 2 samples were packaged and pre-washed. The other 4 were loose ends or bunches.
Washing does not necessarily remove bacteria. The bacteria can get stuck to the leaves and adhere in microscopic crevices in the leaves.
Consumer Reports' Tricia Calvo says people at the highest risk of complications from listeria, the elderly, pregnant women, and young children, may consider not eating raw leafy greens.
The safest thing for them to do is to eat greens they can cook.
The tainted greens were sold at 4 different food retailers in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York in June. Public health officials have not reported any illness or concerns following their inspections.
Consumer Reports is not advising anyone to stop eating leafy greens, but instead wants consumers to pay attention to food safety.
One thing that you can do to protect yourself is to eat them as soon as you can after you buy them. What you don't want to do is give the bacteria a chance to grow.
A trade association that represents retailers, wholesalers, and suppliers that sell products to grocery stores says the incidents outlined in Consumer Reports remind us that the entire supply chain has a responsibility for safe food handling. Calvo says one way to minimize bacteria risk is to avoid raw greens at restaurants. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
And stick around, we'll have another check of the weekend forecast in a moment.
Weekend is almost here.
Yeah, that's right. And honestly, it's going to be a pretty good weekend for most of us. It's going to be a lot warmer, but we'll see some chances for showers and thunderstorms at times. So that's what we'll be watching for. Overnight tonight, most of us will be partly cloudy, but there will be a slight chance of a shower. Look for lows to be into the upper 60s. But you see the rain chances. They do exist Saturday and Sunday, especially at night, each and every day.
All right, Chris, thanks.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.